Welcome to the MicroMolar Podcast, Biotech Headlines Series. Today is Friday, April 17th, 2026.
TGIF, we've got some awesome headlines. Let's jump right in.
Kylera breaks the recent biotech IPO mold with a $625 million debut. The deal reinforces that obesity remains an area where investors are still willing to go big.
OpenAI launches a biotech-focused model called GPT-Rosalind. That points to a deeper push to tailor AI tools for life sciences work like target discovery, data analysis, and research workflows.
Lilly's Foundayo reaches about 1,390 patients in its first week on the market. The early read is being watched closely because oral obesity drugs are becoming a huge commercial battleground between Lilly and Novo.
Trump nominates a new CDC director and adds leadership at the agency. The shakeup lands at a time when the CDC is already under pressure.
Merck tees up PD-1 data in a closely watched AACR 2026 lineup. Investors and dealmakers are watching because the data could help define what a post-Keytruda oncology strategy looks like.
A report questions whether anti-amyloid Alzheimer's drugs are delivering meaningful benefit. That reignites one of the field's biggest debates, whether clearing amyloid is translating into enough real clinical value to justify cost, access, and continued enthusiasm.
Novo may have a muscle preservation edge over Lilly in weight loss. Muscle retention is becoming a significant differentiator in obesity medicine as the market shifts from simple weight loss toward quality of weight loss and long-term outcomes.
A pricing watchdog wants more transparency around FDA-accelerated approvals. The bigger issue is whether regulators are being clear enough about expensive drugs that hit the market early.
FDA is considering compounding for peptides it had previously flagged over safety concerns. That could have major consequences over access versus quality control in compounded products.
Rare disease researchers are rethinking how to run trials in very small patient populations. Adaptive designs are becoming more important as traditional trial models often just do not fit ultra-rare diseases.
Moderna's handling of priority review vouchers is being framed as a cautionary tale. The broader lesson is that using a PRV versus selling it can have major downstream effects.
RFK Jr. defends Marty Makary and claims pharma owns Congress and the media. The remarks add more political heat to ongoing debates over health policy.
Roivant's CEO says China concerns are a red herring. The message is that investors may be focusing on geopolitical noise when the company wants attention on execution instead.
Right AI launches a search engine for clinical trial sites. Site selection is one of the biggest bottlenecks in clinical development.
Healthcare AI is increasingly blurring the line between software and regulated clinical systems. That raises harder questions about liability when an AI product starts to look less like admin software and more like a medical device.
Pharma is finding new life in an old asthma drug in what could transform food allergy treatments for millions of Americans. It is a reminder that established molecules can still become strategic assets again.
Confidence in Europe's future as a biopharma hub is slipping, even among Europeans. The concern is not just funding, but whether slower regulation, pricing pressure, and talent migration are making it harder to build and keep scaled biotech companies there.
Illumina is pushing beyond DNA sequencing toward a broader multi-omics future. That shift reflects a wider industry bet that the next big wave in biology will come from integrating genomics with transcriptomics, proteomics, and other data layers.
Lilly CEO David Ricks is laying out the next phase after the company's run toward a $1 trillion valuation. The challenge now is whether Lilly can keep translating obesity momentum into durable growth.
Endpoint's survey asks whether this is a real turning point for biopharma. The backdrop is improved financing, stronger deal flow, and rising equity prices, but the real question is whether that optimism can hold.
Merck and AstraZeneca's big bets are reshaping the upper ranks of pharma R&D spending. The story is really about how much large-cap drug makers are willing to risk on priority areas to stay competitive.
Biospace's Q1 earnings season preview says Big Pharma is heading in on steadier ground with deals as a priority. That frames the quarter around whether companies feel confident enough to keep doing larger licensing and M&A.
That's all the headlines for today. Thanks for tuning in to MicroMolar and visit micromolar.com for more information.
See you next time.